Hey everyone, it's Marc the Bruin for Simplifying Life. It's been a while since I produced a video. I've been quite busy doing all sorts of stuff and also enjoying life. Thought it was time to do another video. Um, I read something, or let me put it this way: in my LinkedIn profile or wherever you see it on my website, I call myself Counselor with a Twist, and that twist is my kind of spiritual outlook on life. The fact that I look at life through a broader perspective. Now, that's just not me. There's many people that do that, and I like to combine that with the evidence-based approaches that counseling offers. Now, one of my twisty kind of books and materials that I read is a book called, or actually a couple of books called, A Course in Miracles. Now, the content of that might be way outside what you think is conceivable or good or true. I actually quite like it, and gives me a lot of joy to read it, but also a lot of hope for the future. And I was reading in the course a piece about oneness and about possessions and about giving things away, and it prompted me to make this video because I think it's an important concept. Now, you don't have to believe me, you don't have to believe A Course in Miracles, you don't have to believe anything at all, but just think with me on this one. There's a lot of talk, and there's been a lot of writing about this concept of oneness. Oneness being that we are one with the universe, or that there's a oneness principle, that we're part of a big organism or something, and that we're all cells. And again, if you can sort of picture yourself being part of that, that we're a cell in a big organism, or that we're part of, well, let's call it God or whatever, and that we'll return to something like that we come from something bigger, then you can get a concept of oneness. Now, this concept of oneness, I'll talk about it very shortly. The other concept in there is the giving in order to receive. It's a topic that gets often talked about in A Course in Miracles, and I'm going way out there. I'm going a bit conceptual today. So one of the statements in A Course in Miracles that I was reading is that you obviously cannot give until you have. So in order for you to give something away, you need to have it first. And that goes for goods, and that goes for ideas as well. Now, what we think in the three-dimensional world as human beings is that if I give something away, so, well, for instance, here's my pen. If I give that pen away, then I've lost my pen, and now my pen is gone. This is where A Course in Miracles and many other teachings that I've been reading over the years say, well, that's not entirely true. First of all, that pen was once a thought. We have thought it up. Everything that we have made, created in this world was once a thought. We had to come up with that thought in order to produce it. So that thought still lives on, in a sense, in the thing that was produced. So the thought has never left. It's still there, and it gets built upon, and that's what we call progress. Now, the thing, the pen that I just pointed out, therefore, is a product of my thought, or of a thought of a person who first invented the pens. Now, if I give my pen away, I might give the form away that pen embodies, in a sense, but I haven't given the thought away. The awareness of that pen is still with me. And this becomes really important when you start to look at less tangible things than a pen. But for instance, happiness. The fact actually is that if we give things like happiness away, or patience, or compassion, or trust, or love, or come up with another good one, we actually don't give that away. We haven't lost it. In fact, all these books and all these teachings say we have now gained. So if we first own, we first have to own that idea of appreciation, love, patience, understanding, compassion, empathy, integrity, whatever else. If we give that away, that thought, if we give that thought of integrity or passion even, patience and other stuff, if we give that to someone else, we never lose it. In actual fact, we gain more. And you can make it really practical. Like if you've ever made someone feel good, so if you've made them happy by telling a good joke or sharing a good story, or just by coming in with your smiling face, and they now smile as well because they were touched by your giving away that happiness, didn't you feel happier? I generally do. So if I make someone smile, then I feel good, and that other person smiles, I feel actually better. Now that would be weird according to the three-dimensional rules of thinking, because if I give something away, I'll lose it, don't I? Well, no, you don't. The actual theory in this teaching is that the more we give stuff away, the more we get back in that same thought. Now, not necessarily in the same form. So the form in which that thing comes back to us might not be the exact form that we expected it to be. So if I give a pen away, I might not get a pen back. But if I give a pen away because I want to be generous, or I want to be compassionate, or I want to just be, I don't know, feeling abundant and give my stuff away, then the thought behind that pen is the thing I'm giving away, not the pen itself. The form is just that shape. So if I'm feeling generous, if I'm feeling prosperous, and I'm feeling abundant, and I give that form that's attached to that abundance away, there's a fair chance, all these teachings say, that more of what I'm giving away will come back, because that's always the case. That also then links in with that idea of oneness. If we are, and you don't have to believe it, but just think about it, just take it on board for a bit. If it could be true that we are all one, and I firmly believe we are, but that's beside the point. If you think that there is something like oneness, and you and I are in fact the same thing, we come from the same source, and that source is us, and we're that source, then I cannot give anything, a thought or a form, away to anyone but me. An extension of me, an extension of that source, an extension of God, an extension of whatever, whoever you want to call that person, thing, or entity, or energy. But if we all are part of that particular source, and I give to another person who is also part of that source, and we're all the same, we're all one, so I am you and you are me, then I can never give away and thereby lose something. If I give away, then the thought behind that giving away, integrity, happiness, joy, patience, compassion, empathy, whatever, grows. Not only does that grow, but I'm also giving it to someone who's actually in the bigger picture the same as I am. So I'm never losing anything, I'm actually gaining more. Now keep in mind, and don't go like, oh, Marc, so if I just give all my money away, then I'll be happy. It's like, well, no, not necessarily. It's not that simple. But if you do feel prosperity, if you feel abundant, and you therefore share in your abundance in one way, shape, or form with someone else, then these teachings would say, yes, in some way, shape, or form, you will get more abundance back. Now, remember the pen principle. If you give a pen away, you don't necessarily get a pen back. So if you give money away, it might not necessarily be that you get money back. But if you give away from the thought of abundance, and that's why you give something away, these teachings say, yes, abundance will be returned to you multifold. Now, that's something to think about, because I think what is lacking in a lot of people's lives is love, is happiness, is joy, is patience, is understanding, is compassion, is empathy, is integrity, is authenticity. All these values are in very high degrees lacking in many people. It's not that they don't have them, it's just that they don't really feel them. But we all, because we in these teachings are all one, we can all tap into some form of empathy, some form of compassion, some form of integrity or authenticity somewhere deep inside us, because we all carry that kernel. So wherever you are in life, start finding that thing that you would like to receive more of, whether it's honesty, integrity, authenticity, being treated respectfully, being treated fairly, whatever, and start actually giving that actual thing, integrity, authenticity, honesty, away. And I can pretty much promise you, based on these teachings, at least in my worldview, I can promise you, got to be careful, that you will get that actual thing back. But you might not recognize the form unless you're really willing to look at how that form manifests for you as abundance, prosperity, integrity, blah, 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 blah. So, okay, summarized. All these teachings, of Course in Miracles included, say we are all one. And even if you don't believe that, like, just entertain the thought that there could be some form of oneness or some form of connection between all of us. The teachings also say any form was once a thought of that form. So everything was a thought initially and then got manifested. Thoughts create things. If it is the case that the thought never leaves the source, my thought of abundance never leaves me, then I can actually give that away. I can give abundance away. I can give prosperity away. I can give patience away. I can give compassion away. I can give integrity away. I can give honesty, love, appreciation. Name them. I can give all those things away because they're thoughts. And by me giving them away to someone else, by me respecting you, by me loving you, by me appreciating you, by me treating you with respect, considering you authentic, and treating you with integrity, according to these teachings, I can be absolutely certain that those things will come back to me. Just not always. Sometimes they do, but not always in the exact form that I'm giving them away. So if I give a donation to someone or give some stuff away, I might not get the exact same thing back. But some way, somehow, the thought of whatever that feeling was that I wanted to give away by donating my money will come back to me and in fact will grow. So, put very simply, and that's the end of this video, if you want to feel happier, start giving happiness away. If you want to feel more respected, start giving respect away. If you want to feel more authentic, start treating people more authentically. If you want to experience integrity, treat people with integrity. If you want to feel loved, start loving. If you want to feel abundant, give abundance away. If you want to feel prosperous, share your prosperity. Share all the things you want more of, and according to these teachings, you'll get them back multifold. It actually will grow. Just don't be attached to the form that it comes in. That's the only sort of caveat. So I hope that makes sense. This is one of those more spiritual videos, not necessarily anything to do with my counseling, but I'd just like to talk about this concept. If it's of any interest, talk to me about it. Happy to discuss things with you. Happy to disagree, even with stuff about you. But I'm quite convinced that if we can start treating each other more like how we would want to be treated, do to others what you would like others to do to you, kind of thing, geez, that's in the Bible, then chances are that you'll start experiencing more of that stuff yourself. So I hope that helps. Let me know. Comments, always welcome, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. See ya.